the more that you step into who you are and authentically and not really caring what other people think, you just show up, there are going to be people that are attracted to that, and these people are going to be a vibrational match to you when someone can appreciate you for who you are and the energy that you bring. So, hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I am so happy to have you here. Today we're going to be talking about saying yes to more of who you are. Now, this is one of the best things that you could do for yourself. People always talk about self-love and what self-love means and what showing up for yourself means, but I personally believe that being more of who you are, saying yes in your spirit to being who you are authentically and showing up as your real self in the world is one of the best things you could possibly do for yourself. The reason why I say this is because once you open up more to who you are, the world tends to respond to that. When the world starts responding to more of you, then your desires, your needs are met. God blesses you with those needs because you are being true to yourself. Now, it's when we are wavering and we're back and forth and we don't know who we are, is when things can get a little confusing. And I know firsthand what that feels like. When you are people pleasing, when you are trying to show up as someone else because you're afraid that people won't accept you, those are, I feel like those are miserable ways to live, and it keeps you from being happy, and it keeps people around you from appreciating who you truly are. If you are somebody who knows that you're larger than life, you have a great calling on your life, and there's something about you that's unique and different and you've been hiding it away from the world, I want you to know that I have been that girl, and I have been doing the work to get through that and allow God to pull me into where I'm supposed to be. I feel like saying yes to more of who you are comes with a lot of change in your environment, change in the people you hang around, change in the things that you do. And with change and transformation, it can be not the prettiest thing. So when you're on this journey to becoming more of who you are, you have to know that there are going to be tower moments that happen in your life where certain people are probably not going to accept this new version of you, or they're not going to want to accept you coming into more of who you are. This leads me to the topic of dimming your light and playing small. I'm sitting here on the camera, but growing up I was bullied. I stayed off to myself. I didn't really say much, and in times where I wanted to speak up, it was just something in me that was just stopping me from speaking up. Now that I'm older, this is the first time in my life where I feel confident to show who I am. And through that, I've had to experience the uncomfortable feelings of standing out. And when you are someone who's unique and different, and you feel like you show up different to the world, it can be hard to want to show yourself to the world, because I feel like people are not so accepting of different people, because there are societal standards. There are, you know, the matrix makes us want to like stay in one little bubble and do one little thing. Like, the average person is just going to follow the next and the next and the next. But when you are someone who stands out, you have a uniqueness about you, it can be hard growing up and even into adulthood, feeling comfortable showing who you are to the world and showing yourself and showing up as the person you truly are to your core. It can be really hard, and I've struggled with that in so many ways. I mean, it'll be times where before I got to this point where I would walk in a room and I would feel certain energy towards me, and it would make me want to even like shut down. It would trigger me so much and trigger up those childhood wounds of being bullied again, because when you're someone who's quiet, people tend to underestimate you and underestimate what you think because you're not saying anything. But with that, they underestimate you and they try to overpower you. But as you get older and you step more into your power, it's a process. It's been a process for me, and even though I might feel certain energies towards me and my uniqueness, I still just am pushing through that and showing more of who I am to the world, and the universe is responding back to me with that. So if you relate to playing small all the time and hiding your light and dimming your light from the world, that time is up. It's time to show the world who you are, because the world needs you. You are someone that the world needs, because we are always seeing the average person. You know, it's the people who stand out, who are always the winners, the legends, the creators, the inventors. You guys have something to offer to the world that is so beautiful, and to hide it and to keep it away from the world in yourself is only doing you harm as you get older and older and older. And we're just waiting to see you shine. And it wasn't until God spoke to me that I felt able to really be okay being able to accept myself. But it came with me having strong faith and listening to God's voice, as well as connecting with like-minded people, because I see, okay, if they can do it, if they can show off their uniqueness and people admire them for it, I can do that too for myself. So that's another thing. I also want to talk about, you know, once you step more into who you are, other people's opinions and how it can possibly affect you. Now, the cliche would say it doesn't matter what they think, whatever, this, that, and that's true. It does not matter what they think. But when it comes down to people who are close to you, like your family and your close family, your close friends, people you grew up with, and you see the dynamics changing simply because you are changing, it can be a very hurtful process, especially if you've been someone who has showed up for that individual as they gone through their change, right? So eventually I feel like you're going to come across people who are not in favor of you being more of who you are, and this is a good thing. This is an amazing thing. And I used to think that it was the end of the world, but it wasn't until I started really being more of who I am and more authentic to who I am that I can really feel how worth it is to live a life that is in alignment. And so with that, people are going to fall out of your life. People are not going to agree with this change, but that's a good thing, because that means whatever is not in alignment anymore through this transformation has to fall away, and so that better can come in for your life. And I think that that's pretty much for a lot of things in our lives, is allowing what doesn't fit to fall away and to bring in the moreness. And the more that you step into who you are and authentically, and not really caring what other people think, you just show up, there are going to be people that are attracted to that, and these people are going to be a vibrational match to you when someone can appreciate you for who you are and the energy that you bring. So yes, don't let people's opinions stop you. I understand that it can, and it can be emotional when you're making that transition, but just keep on going, and you're going to see why it's so worth it to let the people fall away. When you say yes to more of who you are, you deserve to be who you are authentically. Don't let anybody stop you from being who you are, because at the end of the day, we were born here to be who we are. Yes, we had all this conditioning, societal standards, all of these things that made us and stripped us away from our pure essence. But once you get to a point where you're ready to break the chains off of you and you're ready to be free in your spirit, it is the most, man, it is the most relieving feeling ever. And I would want anyone to experience this, because it has not been easy for me. But what I can say is that I'm living a life for me. I'm living a life that's divinely fit and tailored to me, and that feels awesome and empowering. Instead of just going with the flow and following everybody else, I am being true to who I am, and God is blessing me for that. Speaking of God, I also want to talk about God's calling. Now, I feel like everyone has a calling on their lives. A lot of people don't choose to listen to it because we let things, the blockages, everything else stop us from it. But I do believe that everyone has a calling over their life. And if we just listen for a little bit, sit in solitude and just listen to God's voice, the universe, whatever you believe in, just listen for a little bit. God will reveal to you who you are and what your calling is. And when you step into more of who you are, it doesn't mean you just take this huge big leap. Sometimes it can be, but when you do it day by day and you implement it, I feel like it's such a rewarding process, because one, you feel the changes. You feel yourself changing throughout the day through your actions, your behaviors, what you say, who you're attracting. And I think that is such a rewarding feeling, because at the end of the day you can say, wow, I did myself proud, because instead of doing this, instead of hiding away like I usually would, I didn't do that this time. And that's what I do at the end of my day, is with practicing more self-acceptance and gratitude, I tell myself, and I'm saying this to you, but it has not been an easy process. It has been a very consistent, conscious effort that I have put in to be able to step into more of who I am, because I know the great benefits of it. We came to this life to live a life of who we are. I want the fullness of that. So I spend time day by day, and then sometimes certain circumstances will force you to step into more of who you are. And for me, that's been with major tower moments. And maybe for you, you have experienced major tower moments where you have had to change who you are, or things have changed the essence of you, and you've had to pick up the pieces and try to understand, what do we do with this? It's hard, it's tough, but I feel like it makes us more of who we are. And God's calling on our lives is one of the biggest blessings, I feel like, because once we step into that calling, I feel like we unlock a whole nother world full of fruitfulness, full of abundance, that we would have never really accessed, or we could have possibly accessed if we didn't step into it, but we probably would have had to work 20 times more harder, and we probably would have made more mistakes, or whatever the case may be, and we might even still do it and still not even be happy going the separate route of not being in co-creation with God. And so when I'm in co-creation with God, I feel a feeling of safety, a feeling of peace, a feeling of power, because I know that God is motivating me on the way, and God wants me to be more of who I am, because I was created to be here and live through this time today. I want to talk about the shift after stepping into more of who you are, and just diving deep in that. I feel like once you actually get to the other side of saying, I'm going to make the decision to be more of who I am, and this comes with, I would have made this past version would have made this decision when I was people pleasing, or trying to shy away from the world. I probably would have did this, but this time I'm going to do something different. And even though that is super scary to do, when you do it anyway, you understand how worth it is. I feel like stepping more into who I am has allowed me to attract healthier relationships, attract people who appreciate me and see me for who I truly am. It's allowed me to work with people and on a whole nother level, where we can come together and really co-create and make things happen. It's allowed me to be able to create to the best of my ability, and just show up in the world how I would want to show up, instead of having all these filters on all the time. And it gives me a sense of peace knowing that I'm staying true to who I am, and that's all you really need. When you go to sleep at night, it's such a peaceful feeling knowing that I did what I wanted to do today. I stayed true to who I am. I didn't let anyone break me. I didn't let any situation break me. I know that I stayed true to who I am, and that creates a closer relationship with yourself, which turns into an amazing self-love relationship. Now that is true self-love, when you're able to really just be in your own energy and love yourself for it, and love yourself for pushing yourself greater each and every day. That is true self-love. So I encourage you to step into more of who you are, because you deserve that for yourself. We have a temporary time here in this world. It is so imperative that we spend it wisely, and that we allow ourselves to bask in who we are and who we are becoming, right? So it's who we are and who we are continuously becoming. And I think that once we say yes to the journey, the potential is endless. Okay, what you can accomplish and who you can become and what you can experience in this life is endless. So I hope that this message gave you some inspiration and a push to step into more of who you are. I think that we always are constantly looking for permission to be who we are. I think we do that as a society anyway, because we don't want to be judged or left out. But when you just give your own self permission and stop waiting for other people to give you permission to be who you are, it's the most empowering feeling. And I swear, it's like you step into a whole nother world. The shift is just crazy, and the world responds to you differently. You actually get appreciated way more than you would even expect if you would have just kept yourself quiet and not being more of who you are and just sitting on the sidelines being average, right? So let the world see who you are. Let God bring blessings into your life. I hope this inspired you. Like this video and share it to someone who needs to hear this message today. If you are interested in my Divine Metamorphosis Transformational Journal, it'll be linked down below. It is a transformational journal to help you if you are trying to break unhealthy patterns, if you are trying to level up in your life, if you've gone through a major life event. This is the journal for you. It includes 20 guided prompts that I use myself to overcome grief and anxiety, as well as transformational affirmations, creative blank space, and a ton of journaling and reflection space for you. Get it in the link below and let me know what you think about it. Subscribe to me if you want to see more content from me. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next. Bye.